Hi everyone, Ron Crider here again. Today it's chicken cacciatore. This chicken cacciatore obviously is an Italian dish, and it's done, they call it hunter style. That pretty much means that if you have some leftover things in the refrigerator, and in my case mostly vegetables because I like a lot of vegetables, that's the way it's done. And this is more traditional Italian style as they do in Italy. Here in the United States, they generally don't put as many of these vegetables in here. Anyway, here we go with the ingredients. We see I have two different containers of mushrooms here. I have the chicken on the left-hand side there that has been, I put it in flour. Then I have, on the right-hand side there, I have the chopped onions, red peppers. I have some carrots in there. And then you'll see the chopped parsley, garlic, crushed tomatoes, kosher salt, Italian seasoning, oregano in there, and a little bit of rosemary. Some black olives, obviously the olive oil, and some red wine to give it some additional flavor. And without further ado, let's just get started here. So we take the big vegetables and put them in first. It'll take about 2 or 3 minutes for them to begin to cook up. Move them around a little bit so that they spread out nicely. I use this cast iron skillet for just about everything. And once it starts cooking a little bit, go ahead and put in a little salt and pepper. Here comes the pepper. I put quite a bit of pepper on just about everything I do. Now we put the garlic in. I put the garlic in after I get these things going because I'm doing this at about a 60% temperature, and I don't want the garlic to burn. I just don't like getting burned garlic, but I like to get these things cooking pretty quickly. So I always put the garlic in a little bit later. Now I'm making room to put the chicken in, so I've moved everything back a little bit. I still want to keep those veggies in there, and I want to keep them cooking. And now I'm sticking the chicken in bone side down to start out with. You can put it in skin side down if you like, but this is bone-in chicken. These are thighs. Trying to make a little bit more room, but see how those juices are down there? That's all going to help flavor the chicken right now as we begin to seal the juices into the chicken. And the chicken should take about 2 or 3 minutes on each side, because we're just sealing it here. We're not actually cooking it, because it's going to go into the oven here in just a minute. Now I'm putting some salt in on top of the chicken, a little bit more salt. I'm going to turn them over, and once they brown, I didn't brown them quite enough as I would have liked on this video, but so it might have been just a little bit longer. It's up to you depending on how big the chicken is as to how long it's going to take, but it shouldn't be more than a couple of minutes if you're running it at a speed of about 60%. People laugh at me because I say speed, but the temperature control on the electric stove, I always say this, I don't like electric stoves. If you have a gas stove, you can much easier control the temperature of what you're cooking. Alrighty, now let's get cooking here, and we're going to put the mushrooms in. Now this is the first set of mushrooms. I'm going to remind you that the last set of mushrooms is going to go in after we've started cooking. Now I'm putting in this should be the rosemary. And here we go with the oregano. I like to add flavor, and this is the best way to get that flavor. And this is the Italian seasoning. Next, we're going to put in the crushed tomatoes. This is a large can of crushed tomatoes. Alrighty, let's keep on going here now. Let's not stop yet. Move it around a little bit just so that everything begins to combine together. Then we're going to put the wine in there. It's a cup and a half of red wine. This is wine you would drink. Don't ever use anything called cooking wine. That's just not good stuff. I never use wine that I wouldn't drink. That was a Chianti Classico, by the way, that I put in. Here's Italian parsley. Talk about a rough cut. That was a very rough cut, but needless to say, it helps add flavor to the dish. Okay, now what we're going to do is take this whole thing, put it into the oven at 375. Now you're going to notice when I show you the temperature gauge on the oven, I have it set at 400, and that's because my oven doesn't get up to 375. It says 400, but it's really going to be more like 375. So here we go. I got this little gadget here. This is kind of cute, the little red thing to pull that out when it's hot. I don't really care for it. There's another one that someone made for us. It's made out of wood, and I use that more frequently. Okay, here's the dish getting ready to go in here. Put the lid on it and cook it for about 50 minutes. Look at this. I had trouble getting this thing on here to get this thing pushed back in. You'll see I use the wooden one, the homemade one, the next time I do this. So this is going to be in there for 50 minutes with the lid on. You're going to pull it out, and here is where I forgot to tell you, you got to put the olives in. I should have put the olives in first. So we put the olives in and then cook it for 50 minutes. And while it's cooking, get your water ready to go. On the electric stove, it doesn't boil as much as I would like it to. You open it up at 50 minutes, pull it out, open it up, and this is where you will put in the second batch of mushrooms. And then you'll cook it one more time with the lid off for another 20 to 30 minutes. That'll give you some real texture to the second batch of mushrooms. And you can use two different types of mushrooms. That's what I did here. But any mushroom you like will be fine. But I like to use two different types of mushrooms. Okay, let's take this out. We're eating in the kitchen tonight, so you'll get a good look at what our messy kitchen looks like because it's Sunday night. And there we go. Oh, I want to do a close-up here of a glass that my granddaughter Emily gave me. She is a hostess at the Breakers in Palm Beach, and she gave me a couple of these Breaker wine glasses. And there is the grated Parmesan cheese. It's the finished product. Those veggies in there. Looks really good. Okay, now here's about as much of the boiling as my pot of water is going to do for the pasta, and I use linguine. And now I'm being told that you need to put something on here, and it's a good idea. I would put a little bit of olive oil on the pasta when you get it out so it doesn't stick together, because that had there's also a lot of salt in that water that I cooked. But should have heated up the butter before we put it on here, and I'll get reprimanded for that. And then once again, we're taking the pasta and plating it. Once again, I got reprimanded for having Molly in the video. She did not want to be in the video, and she said that she didn't even want 1 second of it there. Now we first take a piece of the meat and the sauce. And we don't like our sauce terribly thick, so this didn't thicken up. We didn't let it thicken up too much, and we didn't reduce it too much. But I have to tell you something. It was really good. We very much enjoyed it. It smelled terrific as it was being prepared. Now, once again, I used the wrong device to shave this Parmesan cheese. I got reprimanded for that. This was not a good day for me about using all the right stuff. But at the end of the day, it tasted really good. And we sent it out to some of our friends in the building, so where we live here, they got a little taste of it as well. Oh, by the way, Dolphins and New England Patriots, the Dolphins beat them again. It's hard to believe, second time. Yep, that's it. New England Patriots lost to the Miami Dolphins, one of the worst teams in the league. Well, here's the final product. We'll zoom in on that and take one more look at it, and then I'll give you a still shot of it. Chicken Cacciatore, Hunter style. I will also post up the ingredients. Primarily, it's just the mushrooms and the 8 garlic cloves, a bell pepper, a red bell pepper, a chopped carrot, some olive oil, sea salt, and a lot of parsley. Takes about an hour and 45 minutes to make this. There's 229 calories in the pasta. Scratch that. 229 calories in the chicken cacciatore, and then add in the pasta, you probably get another 125 calories in the pasta. So probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 300, 350 calories per serving, which is not bad, and it's very tasty. Thank you for watching the video. Watch again. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, the end of December.